Hi, my name's Shannon and I'm going to take you through a 30-minute fundamentals workout. You don't need any props, all you need is your mat. So we're going to start lying down and I want you to take your legs to a 90-degree angle. Lie yourself so that your hands are interlaced behind your head. And we're going to start by taking a deep breath in, and as we do that we're going to float our elbow up towards the ceiling. Exhale out and start to rotate through your upper back to get a nice little stretch through the chest, and then come back through the center and lower down. We're going to do that 2 more times. So big breath in to lift the elbow, and then exhale to rotate round and find the stretch. So I want you to keep your knees stacked on top of each other. Ideally the pelvis will stay still and the movement's happening through the upper back, and the eyes follow the elbow and come all the way back. Then you're going to reach your 2 arms forward, head will come down onto the floor, and we continue with that movement by circling the arm around above the head this time as we go all the way around and come back. So 2 more times. So now not only are you getting the rotation through the spine, through the upper back, but you're now getting a little stretch through the shoulders. Try to keep the movement happening through the spine. So instead of just letting the arm hang, I want you to really rotate your rib cage around. So we're moving vertebra by vertebra. As we rotate, let's go back the other way. Arm comes down to the side of the body. We rotate through the ribs, think sternum up towards the ceiling, and circle the arm all the way around. 2 more in this direction. Keep your breathing going. Last one here. Circle the arm. Big stretch through the chest. Arm comes all the way up and over. And release. Let's do the other side. So flip on round. Same setup, legs are at 90 degrees, hands are interlaced behind the head, and you're trying to keep your shoulders and hips stacked for your starting position. You're going to breathe in to take the elbow up to the ceiling, and then exhale to rotate round. Now depending on how tight you are is how far you're going to go, so you don't necessarily have to get all the way back. Just go to where you feel a stretch, but try to keep the head heavy on the mat. So we're not up here, we're still staying nice and elongated through our spine. 1 more here. Inhale to lift elbow, exhale to rotate. And then coming all the way back and reach the arms forward. Let's go for the circle. So inhale to circle the arm up and back, and then coming all the way round. 2 more. So if you feel like you get a little bit clicky or clunky in your shoulder as you're circling your arm, just go back to the first one with the hands interlaced behind the head. Otherwise, you can just reduce the range in the arm so it doesn't have to touch the floor. And come all the way back, and then we reverse. So arm comes down to our hip first. We rotate through the rib cage, eye line following the fingertips, and then coming back. Let's do 2 more. So have this sense of the underneath arm reaching away from the top arm as you circle around, and that will increase the stretch and give you a nice diagonal line through the body. And all the way back. And release. Good. Okay, so we're now going to take ourselves down to the supine position. Knees are bent, our feet are flat, and we want that lovely neutral pelvis, neutral spine. Now, if here you're lying on the floor and you feel like your ribs are really flary, or that you feel like your neck is extended, what I want you to do is just maybe place something little behind your head here. Okay, so just so it brings you back up in line. All right, other than that, arms down to the side of the body and take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, I want you to gently lift your pelvic floor and feel like your deep abdominals sink down towards your spine. Inhale, let that go. And then exhale. So inhale, the belly will rise up, and then exhale, it will sink. We won't spend too much time on that. We're going to add the movement in now, but just so you're aware of your breath, big breath in. Exhale, breathe out, feel the tummy sink, and then reach your tailbone towards your feet and then allow it to peel up off the mat a little bit. So that's your imprint. Inhale to return the pelvis back to neutral. Exhale, breath initiates, tailbone reaches long and peels up off the mat. So it's a small movement, and what it should feel like is a deep connection through the abdominals and a lengthening of the spine. Right, we're going to continue this movement now. So what I want you to imagine is that you have a clock face on the back of your pelvis. And we're going to call, dropping our pelvis down into that imprint, number 12. So we're pressing on the 12. If we were to reverse that movement, our tailbone would get heavy, and we're going to call that 6. So rocking my pelvis like this, I'm taking the pressure from 12 to 6. Right, just getting some movement through that pelvis. Then from there, if we continue with the clock face, we're going to put a little bit of pressure on number 3, so that's the left side of the pelvis down, and then a little bit of pressure on the number 9, which is the right side of the pelvis down. So we have 12, 3, 6, and 9. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to trace the shape of the clock with our pelvis. So exhaling out, find number 12, over to 3, down to 6, over to 9, and back to 12. So we're going to continue in that clockwise direction. What I want you to do here is just try and make the movement as smooth as possible. 2 kneecaps will stay facing the ceiling, so we're not going to let our legs go with our pelvis. Okay, it's just through the pelvis lower back that I want you to find that movement. Now there might be some areas where it's a little bit sticky. Okay, so just smooth those areas out. You might need to stay there a little bit longer. Good, and let's finish this last circle and bring the pelvis back into its neutral position. Now we're going to reverse. So we're going to go back to 12. This time we're going to 9, to 6, to 3, and then back up to 12. So keep going in that same direction again. Again, the feet will stay still, the knees will stay relatively still, and we're just looking for the movement to happen through the pelvis. All right, last little circle around. Pelvis settles back into neutral. Good. All right. So we've just freed the lower back up with that little exercise. We're now going to take the movement a little bit bigger into our pelvic curls. So if you've got something behind your head, just place it to the side for the moment. Same action. Exhale, deep abdominals. Roll the pelvis back down to that number 12 position and start to roll the pelvis vertebrae by vertebrae up till you come into your bridge. Inhale at the top and then exhale to roll back down again. Good, and it doesn't have to be too high at the top. Start just by rolling where you can feel vertebrae by vertebrae. Think of it more of a spinal articulation exercise for today rather than anything else. We're warming our back up. When you get towards the top, you'll feel those back of hips fire. So the buttocks and the back of the thigh. Try to keep really open through the front of the hip at the top. Let's just do 2 more. Last one here. So we're going 12 o'clock. We're peeling through the lower back and then through the middle back, and then we're pressing down through the arms and through the feet to find that last little position. And then we're rolling upper back, middle back, lower back, pelvis, and back to neutral. Great. All right, so from here we're going to now work on our upper body. We're going to take a deep breath in. Exhale, chest lift up. So nod the chin, fold the ribs, and take hold of the back of the thighs. Holding here, we're going to take a big breath in and we're going to allow our arms to do some work and lift our chest a little bit higher. Big breath in, filling the air through the back of the rib cage. Breath out deep in the tummy. And then roll yourself all the way back down again. Let's do that again. Exhale out to chest lift. Take hold of the back of the thighs. Breathe in and really send your breath into the back of your rib cage so you feel that stretch through the back of the body. Deep in the tummy. The little hands off for an abdominal challenge, and then roll yourself all the way back down. One more time. Big breath. And exhale. Chin, ribs, hold the back of the thigh. Big breath in. Feel the stretch. Big breath out deep in the tummy. Hold that abdominal contraction and then roll yourself all the way back down again. And release. Take the arms to 45, glue the legs together. Big breath in to take the knees over to the side. Feel that stretch through the lower back. Exhale, use your waist to bring your lower part of your body back to the center. Inhale to go over. Exhale, waist, pelvis, legs. Inhale over. And exhale, waist, pelvis, legs. Last one. Inhale over. And we go waist, pelvis, legs. Now to really get some nice mobility through the spine, we're going to allow ourselves to take our knees all the way to the floor. We're then going to circle the arm above the head and just come to our side. We're going to reverse that movement now. So the arm goes long. We circle all the way around. It's that lovely diagonal stretch through the body again, and we use our waist to bring us back. So we go knees over to the side, circle the arm, come all the way around, and then circle the arm back. Big diagonal stretch through the body, and then use your waist to bring your knees all the way back to your center. Good. So the spine should feel quite warm now. We've sort of moved it in every direction that we can. So now we're going to look at some stability through the lower abdominals and keeping the pelvis nice and still and working through the hips. So this is your ab work essentially. So the first thing I'm going to get you to do is place your fingers, so your thumbs are on the base of your ribs and your fingers are on these bony parts of your pelvis here. Right, so we're looking to keep this nice and still, our torso still, and move from our hips. Really simply, take a breath in, breathe out, activate those deep core stabilizing muscles, and then let one knee drop out to the side, and then exhale, using the inside of the thigh to bring it back. So really simple, just letting the knee come out to the side, and exhale to bring it back. Now, if you feel a lot of shifting underneath your fingers, then we know that we haven't quite got these stabilizing muscles firing yet. So use the breath to help you. Big breath in to prepare. Exhale, feel that gentle sink of tummy. Now press down into that standing leg and let the other leg open, and you should feel less shift between your pelvis and your rib cage. Other side. Exhale, use the inside thigh to bring the knee back. Right, progressing that on, you're going to slide one leg down the mat. Again, no shift in pelvis or ribs. And then bring the leg all the way back. Exhale to slide the leg. And then come all the way back. Right, let's just do that one more time each side. Exhale, slide the leg, no shift in pelvis. And drawing the leg back up. Last one, slide the legs, not the best time to wear your grippy socks, and come all the way back. Now we're going to add a single leg lift. So exhale out. This is always a bit trickier. We're going to float one leg up to tabletop. Clean movement at the hip, and then lower the leg down without the pelvis shifting. Exhale to float the second leg up, and lower it back down again. All right, so just watch the pelvis hasn't shifted from side to side. Exhale, lift and sink tummy. Float the first leg and lower it back down. Other side, exhale, float and lower. Okay, so that's about keeping the torso still. We're now going to amp it up a little and add the chest lift. So you can always come back to that exercise if you like. Otherwise, if you'd like to progress, here we go. Exhale to chest lift up. Right, now from here, little knee drop out to the side, no shift in pelvis. Bring it back using inside thigh. Other leg goes, and we draw it back. One leg slides, and we pull in. Other leg slides, and we pull in. Exhale, float one leg, and place it down. Exhale, float second leg, place it down. Take a deep breath in, and then lower all the way back down. We go again. Exhale, chest lift up. And right knee. And exhale, bring it back to the center. And left knee. And center. And right leg slides. And center. The whole time keeping that pelvis nice and still. And center. Right leg floats. And center. Left leg floats. And center, lower all the way down. Now abs should be getting a little bit warmer here. We've got another set. Exhale, chest lift up. And right knee, and in. And left knee, and in. And slide, and in. Good, keep that pelvis really still for those ones. Now float, and lower, and float, and lower. Lift a little higher, and then come all the way back. And release. Good. From here, you're going to lift on up into your chest lift. You're going to float your right leg up to tabletop, and you're going to take your left hand, so the opposite hand, and press it into the thigh. And you're just going to hold here for 3 breaths. Whew. And then lower all the way down. So you should feel those obliques. Wake up. Float the second leg. It's the opposite hand to the opposite thigh. You're going to push that hand into the thigh, and you'll feel that diagonal line across your torso. For 3, for 2, for 1, and then come all the way back and release. Good. So hopefully you felt your abdominals working there. We're going to continue on now to work the side of our body. So you're going to lie with your spine up the back of your mat. So I want your shoulders stacked over each other, and I want your pelvis stacked on top of each other. From here, the legs start at 90 degrees, and you're going to breathe out to float that top leg straight up in one piece, and lower back down again, and lift and lower. So the biggest cheat that happens here is that the pelvis sinks and the hip hikes. So use your top hand to try to keep that top part of your pelvis still, and find a really clean movement, not from the knee, not from the foot, but from the hip. So you have to initiate the lift of the leg from your hip. So if you put your hand here, you should feel that puff as you float. Let's just do 2 more. And the last one. Now we hold. We draw little circles the size of a tennis ball with our hip. Now, it doesn't matter what the lower part of the leg looks like. In fact, the more sort of soft you can keep it, the more load through the hip, and that's the muscles we want to work. So we're kind of looking to really stir the hip. Let's just do 2 more, and we're going to reverse back the other way. So this is where it starts to get a little challenging. Rest if you need to. But again, keep the waist lifted and keep the hips stacked on top of each other. If you start to feel the front of the hip working more than the back of the hip, draw that thigh bone back towards the back wall, and that should help connect into the back of the hip. We're going to hold that now, and we're going to push the leg out long and come back and press. So quite a long series here, but definitely one to help with strengthening the hips and the glutes. You should feel a little puff of the buttocks as you extend your leg out. Let's go for 3, for 2. Last one, press. Have a little gaze down at your foot and check that your leg is in line with your hip. Okay, so we're not using the front of the hip too much. Now from here, we're going to lift the leg up and it's going to come forward. We're going to lift it up and take it backwards. Lift it forwards and lift it backwards. And lift it forwards and lift it backwards. Last two. And come back to the center and bend the leg all the way back in. We're almost done on this side. We're going to come up onto our elbows. Our knees are going to be stacked. You're going to take a breath in and lift yourself up into a little side support and lower back down again. And again, lift. And come back down. Now, I want you to feel the work. Yes, the shoulder is loaded, but you're going to use your hips to help get that pelvis up in the air. And last one, lift. Let's hold for 3 and 2 and 1 and lower the pelvis all the way down. Okay, swapping sides. So, lying down. So, stacking shoulders over each other and hips over each other, legs at 90. Here we go. We're going to lift the top leg and lower it. So just straight lift and lowers. Again, just reminding you that the movement's happening from the hip joint, so the top hip is working. You might feel a little buzz on the underneath hip just because you've worked it. And yes, the second side does burn a lot earlier than the first. So we're going to hold up there now and we're going to do little circles. 5, 4, really keep that pelvis still, really get the circle from the hip joint. 2, 1, reverse. Nice and soft through the front of the hip. Little press down of the leg that's on the mat into the floor. 2, 1, hold. Now from here we push the leg out, and just like I said earlier, you should feel the bigger glutes at the back of the body now fire up. Bend the knee in, exhale, push the leg out. And in and out. In and push the hips out. Let's just do 2 more. And last one. Now have a little gaze down, check the legs in line with the hip, and ideally we want it slightly higher than the hip. Okay, the foot needs to be higher than the hip. Now we lift it and we tap it down to the mat, and then we take it back. And we take it forward, and we take it back. All right, again, as your leg lifts, try and get it slightly higher than the hip line, so we are using our abductors, so these muscles here, to get the leg up. 2 more. And last one. And come back. And in, almost done. Come up onto your elbow. Take a deep breath in. And then from there, you're going to lift your pelvis up into the air. And then lower back down again. Just check that you're nicely stacked before you lift. Pressing up, find that nice long line. And lower back down. 2 more, lift. And lower, and last one, lift, and we hold here for 3, for 2, and for 1, and come all the way down and release. Good, so hopefully you feel a little warmer through your hips now, through the back of the hip and through the sides of the hip. So we're going to give them a little stretch. We're going to take the arms out to letter T, fingertips in your peripheral vision. We're going to inhale to tip ourselves over to the side. Exhale to bend the underneath elbow and reach that top arm long so you feel a stretch from your sit bone to little finger. Come all the way back and re-stack up tall. Inhale over. Exhale, ground your 2 sit bones and reach your top arm long. Then come back to 2 long sides of waist. Exhale, use your waist to restack your spine. Let's add the rotation in. Inhale to go over. Exhale, this time we rotate. And this is where we're really going to feel that glute stretch, but also that lovely spine and torso stretch. Come back out to 1 long line and restack up tall. And then we go over and wrap. So I'm scooping tummy in, I'm pressing sit bones down, and I'm finding that lovely stretch through the spine, but also through the hips. And then open back out to the side and restack. Press the arms down to the side of the body. Bring them forward and just creep your fingers forward, and you will feel those glutes stretch Then use your tummy to restack your spine up tall, swap your legs over, and reach forward. Little stretch through the body. Big breath in there. And then exhale, scoop the tummy, restack the spine all the way up. Good. Okay, so almost there. We're going to finish with a little bit of back work. So we're going to lie down on our tummy. Now, if you're the kind of person that feels your lower back, when you lie on your tummy, I want you to place a little towel underneath your pelvis just so you're propped slightly. That should take the work out of the lower back. Other than that, we're going to lie on our tummy and we're going to take our arms to our sides. Then the first thing you're going to do is just float the arms 1 centimetre off the floor. Okay, now your head will be looking down to your mat, so I'll put my head there too, but hopefully you can still hear me. Then from there, I want you to tuck your toes under and press your knees to straight, but scoop your tummy off the mat at the same time. So you're nice and long through your lower back. You'll feel your glutes fire and you'll feel the back of the arm fire. Now bring your thumbs close to your thighs here, and then you're just going to do little presses of the arm up towards the ceiling to start to feel the tricep firing. If you want more of a challenge here, you're going to then float your feet and your legs off the floor. So you're now really working into the back of that body. If that feels a little uncomfortable through the lower back, you just lower your legs down, that's fine. Let's go for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the arms there. Take a breath in and start to feel like the chest can come forward and up towards the side of the room. And then exhale and lower down. So a little basic back extension. Inhale to allow the ribcage to lift. Reach your fingers towards your heels and your eye line will lift with you. And then lower back down. Last one. And then exhale. Come all the way down. Take your hands underneath your shoulders. Push yourself back and give yourself a lovely little rest stretch. So I'm really dropping my sit bones to my heels, scooping my back, pressing my hands into the floor. And then come up onto all fours. We're almost there. So from here, what we're going to do is a little bit of an abdominal challenge. So we're going to slide our right leg long. We're going to slide our left arm long. And we're going to float the arm and the foot off the floor. So a little Superman here. We're just going to hold this, checking that the 2 hips are square. 3 more breaths. Try to avoid sinking here. So push into the hand and lengthen through the crown of the head. Last breath and lower all the way back down. Reach your right hand, your left foot, and then float them both off the floor. We're trying to keep our 2 shoulders and our 2 hips nice and square. Our waist is lifted, our spine is long. Last breath here. And then come all the way back in. Tuck the toes under. Exhale, pike the hips up into the air and find a lovely stretch through the back of the legs. Now, if you can't get your knees straight here, that's fine. Work more on wrapping those shoulder blades around the rib cage, pushing the hands into the floor and lengthening through your spine. We're aiming to get the sit bones up towards the ceiling here. Now, walking through the heels to find that lovely calf stretch. Let's just do 2 more of those. And then from here, bend your knees, lower your heels and walk your hands in towards your feet. All right? So, keeping the knees soft for this one. Let the arms be heavy, let the head be heavy. We're going to start the movement from the pelvis. So the sit bones drop towards the heels, the inside thighs are active here and we're scooping our tummy to roll vertebrae by vertebrae all the way up to standing. We're going to take the arms up to the ceiling, big breath in, exhale out and then roll back down again. vertebrae by vertebrae. I've bent my knees again just to take a little bit of load off the back. Again, you work to your range. Okay, if you need to make this a much smaller movement, if you can. If you prefer not to do a roll-up because you have a back injury or something, you just stick to the pike and then you can come up safely yourself. All right, last one here, chin to chest, rolling on down. Lovely stretch through the spine, through the back of the legs, soft head, soft shoulders. And then exhale, press the feet down, rolling on up, restacking. One more breath. Arms come down to the side of the body, and you're done. That's it.